Good day, ladies and gentlemen. It is Friday, September 9th, 2022. I am at the September Metal Investors Forum. I'm here with Blaine Monaghan. He's the CEO of Pacific Ridge Exploration. This is one of the companies that I invited to speak. And the reason that I invited Blaine, and just the symbols for it are PEX on the venture and PEXZF QB in the US. I started following the stock last year. They did a shorter than they wanted, I guess, drill program last year for weather and other reasons. But as it turned out, they drilled some really good holes at their Kliyul project, sort of in north central BC. They're just about finished a much bigger program this year. Maybe for people that aren't familiar with it, I mean, I don't have it on top of my head, but I suspect you do. Just a couple of the highlights from last year the stuff that really get the market's attention.
Sure. So you're right. Last year's program was shorter than what we had wanted, but very fortunate that all three holes intersected significant copper gold porphyry mineralization. And, a highlight hole would essentially be kind of like 316 meters of, a 0.7% copper equivalent, or kind of a 0.75 gram per ton gold equivalent. And that's the important thing here when you're looking at this project. It is a porphyry style mineralization. It contains copper and gold. And that's a great thing to actually have in BC right now, is to actually have something that has scale and those two commodities, because it can be attractive to both copper producers and gold producers.
Okay, and this year you got off on an earlier start. It was a much bigger program. You're still, this is September 9th. You're still drilling right now, right?
Yeah, we are wrapping up the second to last drill hole and have just started the last drill hole. And the last drill hole is it's a pretty big one. It's 800 meters. And, thinking about last year's drill program compared to this year's program is going so much more smoothly. We're ahead of budget. We're ahead of schedule. And because of that, we wanted to make sure we could drill as many meters as possible. So we thought we could get another 800 meters in. So we approached our two largest shareholders to see if they might like to fund that additional drilling, Delphi and Crescat, and they stepped up to provide the funds for that. So we initially this year were looking at a 5,000 meter program. Then our financing was oversubscribed, so we increased it to 6, and now it's going to end up being 6,800 meters, and we'll be finished there at the end of September.
Okay, and the bulk, without giving too much of the game away, the bulk of the drilling was kind of focused in and around, I guess, the zone that you drilled last year, basically.
Yeah, so the Kliyul is approximately 60 square kilometers, and there's 5 target areas that occur along a 4-kilometer long mineralized trend. And the area that's seen the most amount of drilling is the Kliyul main zone. That's what historical operators have focused on, and a limited amount of drilling, about 33 holes prior to us acquiring it. We drilled 3 holes there last year, and I believe we'll be drilling 12 holes this year on the 6,800 meters. About 75% of that drilling is going to be focused in and around the Kliyul main zone, and the remainder will be looking to step out laterally to demonstrate, hopefully, that it has size potential. So we'll be taking some pretty aggressive step outs, and if we have success at any one of those step out holes, I think we'll be demonstrating to the market that this has size and scale potential, which will be really important.
Now, in addition to Kliyul, you also did a program on a nearby property that was funded by a JV partner at the same time.
Yeah, no, it's this has been the busiest exploration year for Pacific Ridge exploration period. And that's saying something, because it's been around since 1979. So we'll be finishing 6,800 meters at Kliyul. We optioned a project called RDP, which is about 40 kilometers to the west of Kliyul, to one of the world's largest copper miners, Antofagasta. They funded a 1,500 meter program, and it's important to note we're the operator, so they're putting up the capital for the exploration. And ultimately, we ended up drilling about 1,800 odd meters there, and we reported the completion of drilling last week and announced that one of the holes encountered a significant zone of bornite chalcopyrite mineralization. So those are copper sulfides. So I'm expecting some pretty interesting numbers from at least one of those holes at RDP. So yeah, very, very busy year. And then of course, in addition to the drilling at Kliyul and RDP, we advanced several of other projects as well. So it's a busy year, and there's going to be lots of news starting up next week to the end of the year.
Yeah, because you did a bunch of geophysics as well spread across. I mean, you did a bunch of Kliyul, but also a couple of the other projects. So, it's not just the drilling. There's going to be, I mean, the other targets in that 4-kilometer trend at Kliyul. I mean, some of those targets look really interesting. It's going to be, I'm quite interested to see what the geophysics you guys get done.
Yeah, and that's really important. I mean, the Kliyul main zone historically has seen the most amount of drilling, but it's still not that much drilling. And then you have all these other targets that some have been drilled, some have not been drilled. So you have to be careful not to put on your blinders and just keep focusing in on one area when one of these other targets could actually be much better. So we wanted to make sure that we're advancing some of these other targets for future drilling. And I'm hopeful over the years, the years ahead, we'll be able to test some of these other targets. And I think the Kliyul main zone has the potential to host the sort of size that would be of interest to a senior copper or gold producer. But maybe some of the other targets are even better. Don't know until we drill them.
Yeah. So this is it's a nice, simple-ish story. I mean, they're very focused on being a BC copper gold explorer. Like I said, they generated some great drill holes last year. That really kind of got the market's attention, got them financed, much bigger program this year. A lot of the drilling is in and around where they got the good holes last year. So not to belabor the obvious, but I'd say odds are pretty good. We're going to see some nice drill holes out of this story over the next 2 or 3 months. So the timing's pretty good. You want to be paying attention now before those results start showing up. So Blaine Monaghan, CEO of Pacific Ridge Exploration. Thanks for coming by, Blaine. Thanks for presenting.
Thank you. Thank you for your support. I appreciate it.
As always, I exercise my warrants too. I bought a drill ship.
You bought a shift, and that could be a game changer. So thank you.
It could be the shift. Who knows? Could happen.